What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I hate seeing stuff like this, you guys. I don't know um who this young lady is, but her name is Niece Waidhoff. Now, the reason why I am talking about this is because I did a reaction to another model who um lost her life to mental health issues. So this young lady passed away due to mental health issues. She was found in her home in Texas. She was a model and an influencer. I saw her page on Instagram. She only has like 3 pictures up there, but she has 4.2 million followers. So I can only assume that maybe she had a lot of pictures on there and she took them down for whatever reason. We're not sure. There's not that many details about it. But the reason why I'm doing this is because you guys know how much I talk about the importance of taking care of your mental health. I don't know what this young lady was going through. I did look her up online. And it seems like she had a lot of pictures. She's done a few things as far as I think she's been in a couple of movies. If it's the right person, because sometimes there's information out there that's not correct. But in any case, you guys, it's really sad because this is not the first story of a model influencer that has lost their battle to mental health. And I really firmly believe, and it just makes me so upset because so much is talked about in regards to cancer, Alzheimer's, AIDS, all these different illnesses. And I feel like the mental health is not spoken about enough. And I personally know what it feels like to have anxiety, to have depression, to feel like you're in a dark hole, to feel like you don't want to deal with life. I personally have never gone so far as to, thinking about self deletion or anything like that. It's never, thank God, it has never been like that. But it's gotten to a point where I've needed to be on medication. It's gotten to a point where I'm a big family person. I mean, I travel to Connecticut to see my family once a month. I don't have to do that. When I used to live in Connecticut, I used to go to my family's house 2 or 3 times out of the week. Sometimes on the weekends, for dinner and whatnot. And they lived half hour from me. Not a problem. I didn't mind it because that was my family. And when I was going through depression and anxiety at my worst, weeks would go by and I wouldn't call my family. I wouldn't go see them. I would sometimes go to work and literally I would just be like a floating zombie. Like I would just go and go home. And there were times where I would just have bouts of emotional breakdowns and I didn't know what I wanted to do, if where I was in life was the right place for me to be. I questioned a lot of things that really didn't need questioning. I would stay at home, lock myself in the room, sleep all day. Sometimes I would even call out of work just because I couldn't get out of bed. There were times where it got so bad, like I wouldn't eat. And then over time, it got to the point where I was so stressed. I was, I was on 3 different medications because when I started going through anxiety, it happened in my sleep. And I know that sounds weird, but it's like I woke up one day and the room was spinning. My heart was racing. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And at this point, I was living with my family. And so where my parents live, there's a hospital right down the street. So I went to the hospital. They did every single test possible. And they were like, you had a panic attack. So of course, someone with anxiety would understand that since that happened to me in my sleep, guess what? I was scared to sleep. So I was put on Ambien, which I got addicted to. And yeah, I was addicted to that because I was using that to sleep during the day. When I was awake and that was not my system, I was taking Xanax, and then I was on Zoloft to suppress the anxiety. So I personally took myself off of medication because I had enough mental sense to know, okay, you know what? Something's not right because I am using this to cope and there's nothing changing. I took myself off of everything. And I began to do research on how to cope and how to deal with it naturally. I found a lot of resources, books. I did everything I could to get off these meds, and I did. And thankfully, it has been years since I've taken anything for anxiety, let alone had anxiety. But I've been there. I've been to a point where it's just literally me and God, because I just felt like I was in such a dark hole that if I had to work, I went to work and went home. I didn't see friends. I didn't see family. Phone would ring. Text messages would come through. I wouldn't answer. I just didn't feel like dealing with people. I would eat. I would go do what I had to do. I would run errands I had to run. I would live a normal life. But being social was something that I was just pushing off, when in fact, I knew that I had people around me that was a support system to me. But me personally, having to deal with anxiety and things like that, it's tough. And there's different levels of it. And so to go back to this young lady here, we don't know what she was going through. There was a previous model who had a lot going for herself. She self-deleted. She was a model. I think she had some type of photo shoot with Essence. I mean, she had a lot. She was a lawyer. And she, it happened. And I just want to encourage you guys the importance. I just want to explain how important it is for you to take care of your mental health. A lot of how you feel is based off the way that you think. And the way that you think has a lot of power. Your mind has a lot of power. And I want to encourage any of you out there who are going through any type of mental health issues, even if it's just minor anxiety, I encourage you to see someone. Talk to somebody you trust. Go seek therapy. Journal. I mean, and there's so many different resources out there. If you can't, afford to go to therapy, find a pastor, find a church home. Do something where you can talk to someone who can help you through these things. Get yourself into self-help groups. Make sure that you have the right friends around you who are going to support you and lift you up when you can't lift yourself. That's why it is so important to be so mindful of who you have around you. Because when stuff hits the fan and you can't help anybody else and you can barely help yourself, your circle is who is supposed to be there to help lift you up. That's when you know who's there for you and who's not. So I want to encourage you guys, make sure that you talk to someone. Learn how to identify certain things within yourself. Go do some research. I used to go to Barnes and Nobles and literally sit. Matter of fact, not even Barnes and Nobles, Walden Books. Y'all remember Walden Books? I used to go to Walden Books all the time, and then of course that became Barnes and Nobles. But I used to just go and literally sit on the floor and read through different books, and eventually I would buy a few, take them home, and begin to try to understand where my anxiety is coming from. Why am I feeling this way? Becoming familiar with how I'm feeling, because sometimes when we go through anxiety attacks and when we go through panic attacks, our bodies tend to react differently. So sometimes you can get muscle spasms. You can get heart palpitations. You can start sweating. You'll have this hot and cold rush coming up and down your body. Your nerves and muscles will start spazzing. And you almost start to tell yourself that something else is wrong. That's what happens when you have anxiety, when you're an anxious person. And a lot of people are scared to talk to people about this because they feel like that we're gonna be called crazy or something's wrong with us. I don't care. Go seek help. Help yourself, because especially if you have a family, if you're married, if you have parents, if you have, people around you who may depend on you or may look to you for help. I've said this plenty of times before. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are not 100% good for yourself, you cannot be 100% for someone else. You can't give someone what you don't have. So you need to make sure that you take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. You need to make sure that you are well, that you are able. If you need to, take a day off or two from work, go on a mini vacation, get your mind right. Talk to somebody, seek therapy. Make sure that you have a tight circle of friends who are there for you. Talk to them. Let them know what's going on. Let them know that this is what you're going through, that you need the help, that you're not sure how to go about this. I am glad that I have the circle of friends that I have, because they are honest. They pray for me. They are real. We can be open with each other. We check up on each other. And sometimes when I don't want to talk, they know that. We know each other well enough to know, even through a text message, we know the energy that you're bringing. We know something's wrong. We know when you need to talk or when you need to be left alone or when you just need to say hi and I'll check up on you later. I know what this is. You know what I mean? So yeah, you guys, I'm not going to keep you guys too long, but please, if you are going through any mental health issues, if you're going through anxiety, depression, or anything under that umbrella, please seek help. There is help. You are not alone. There are people out there who are going through the same thing that you are going through. There are people out there who will help you. There are people out there who understand. You do not have to go through this alone. I hope you guys take this advice. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts on the story. And as I said, it's not much to the story because there's not much information on it, but I just felt like I had to touch on it because it's an issue with mental health that I feel like deserves and needs to be spoken about a lot more. I feel like there's more information coming out, but there needs to be more. There needs to be more resources, more help, more conversations about this, because I feel like the more that there is, the more we all can open up and talk to someone about what we're going through, and the more help that we can get those who are dealing with mental health issues. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel, hit like, share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified whenever I pop up on your feed. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.